favorite drivers if you're at the track. Live stats, leaderboards, driver and team communications, and more, all on your device. It's available now for an all-new low price when you visit NASCAR.com/raceview. For Kevin Harvick, here, crew chief Rodney Childers not here because of last week and a lug nut issue. You have to have all 5 lug nuts tight on each wheel. We focus in on the left front here, and it looks as though the changer is trying to hit a lug nut just as the car is being dropped. Maybe didn't hit that. So then in post-race inspection, as they're all coming through, the officials will check to make sure that all the lug nuts are on.
And I think this is important for the fans to see. Look, they're checking every car when it comes off the racetrack. That way it's somewhat fair for everyone. You can't just check the winner and hold him to a different level. They're checking all the cars. You see the 4 obviously is found with an infraction, so they pull him over to the side, impound the car so they can take a better look at it. The official showing it to Kevin Harvick. This is the issue on your left front. Harvick seems a little... I appreciate it. He looked like he was doing a little argument for his crew chief. Well, maybe something or it could have been here, but unfortunately for Rodney Childers, he's not going to make it here this weekend.
And so Dax Geringer will be the crew chief for Kevin Harvick this week. Marty?
Dax working on the car right now. There you see him talking on the radio to Kevin Harvick. And it's good when you can go to the bullpen, you can pull out some experience. Dax is a long-time race engineer, Rick, and he actually worked with Rodney back in the David Rudiman days, and most recently he was still at Michael Waltrip Racing. It's his first year with Stuart Haas, so they can bring out some experience from the bullpen, and they're going to need it right now. You see Greg Zipadelli here as well, because Harvick only made 2 laps in his first run. He said he had a bad brake vibration. He pushed the pedal, it went to the floor. Never what you want here at Pocono, is it, Jeff? He had to pump it up to get a little brake pedal, but made 2 laps, came back in, so they're going to work on this brake issue for Kevin Harvick. But a lot of experience on the pit box this weekend, so no worries for the 14.
Marty, maybe not a bad thing to have a lug nut issue and then come to this racetrack, because Kurt Busch, who won here most recently, had Johnny Klossmeyer as his crew chief when he won here in June because Tony Gibson was suspended because of a lug nut penalty. Take a look at the pass late for Kurt Busch to get that win, but it was Johnny Klossmeyer who was the crew chief on record because Tony Gibson wasn't here.
Yeah, and a tough race for a new crew chief as well. It was a fuel mileage race, and old Johnny Klossmeyer had to coach his driver, figure out how to save enough fuel and stand in front of the Hendrick duo who was trying to chase him down to get the win. But this lug nut situation is something that, you know, it's kind of ever changing.
Right.
It was
self-policing.
It was self-policing, and the drivers voiced their opinion that they weren't happy with that. They felt it was dangerous, so they wanted NASCAR to get involved. So NASCAR got involved and made a very severe penalty. I think it's not unique that they didn't take points away. It's just a suspension and some money, so it's not a points penalty, but you do lose your crew chief for a week. So it's a hard thing. You know, what is the correct penalty? If the drivers felt it was a safety issue, then the NASCAR came back with a very severe penalty.
It'd be interesting to see how these penalties move forward.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if this. I think you have to emphasize that drivers made it such a big deal about safety. I think you can't turn your head and ignore it, but that's a big penalty to have your crew chief have to stay at home. Maybe they should suspend the guy that didn't get the lug nut tight. Maybe that's the guy that should be suspended.
And Jeff, you know what's funny? Tony Stewart is the guy who kind of brought all this up. Remember, a couple of months ago, he was the one who went to the media and said, "Hey, this is wrong. We've got to police this a little bit better with the self-policing lug nut policy." And so he was asked last night, "Do you now regret that now that Rodney Childers is home for the weekend?" He said, "No, I don't regret anything about it because I feel like I was standing up for what I felt was right, and I feel like we made the sport safer by enforcing that lug nut rule." So Tony Stewart not regretting it, even though his #1 crew chief out for the weekend.
Yeah, he also made the comment that they have to get it tight. With a rule like this, it's up to the teams to get it tight, and the teams just have to. Seems like a strict penalty for the crew chief, but
yeah. 1 lap, Kurt Busch fastest in practice. Pocono.